Over 60. Eat fish, but never make these 6 mistakes. Fish is often called the perfect protein. And for seniors over 60, it's one of the most recommended foods by doctors and dietitians alike. Rich in omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin D, and lean protein, fish supports heart health, protects the brain, strengthens bones, and can even reduce the risk of chronic diseases that often show up later in life. But here's the shocking truth. The same fish that could extend your life might also quietly cut it short. You make certain mistakes in how you choose, cook, or eat it. Many older adults believe that simply adding more salmon or tuna to their diet is enough. But recent studies show that seniors who overlook key details about fish consumption end up facing serious risks, ranging from mercury buildup and weakened kidneys to sudden spikes in blood pressure and even foodborne infections. The real danger isn't the fish itself, but the habits around it. That's why in this video, we'll go through the 6 most dangerous mistakes seniors over 60 make with fish, starting from the least harmful and moving all the way down to the #1 mistake that can put your health in immediate danger. Stay with me, because by the end, you'll know exactly how to keep fish as a life-saving superfood on your plate, without letting it become a silent threat hiding in your kitchen. Number 6. Buying farmed fish without checking the source. For many seniors over 60, fish seems like one of the safest, most reliable foods to include in a healthy diet. It's recommended by doctors for heart health, praised for its protein, and considered easier to digest than red meat. But one of the most overlooked dangers is the difference between wild-caught fish and farmed fish. On the surface, that salmon fillet at the grocery store looks fresh and full of promise. Yet if it's farmed, it may come from enormous underwater pens where thousands of fish are crowded together in dirty water. To keep them alive in these unnatural conditions, producers often rely on antibiotics, pesticides, and chemically engineered feed. Over time, those substances don't just stay in the pen, they end up inside the fish's flesh, and eventually inside the senior who eats it. For a younger person, the body might process and eliminate those toxins more effectively. But for someone in their 60s, 70s, or beyond, liver and kidneys already work under stress. The buildup is far more dangerous. In fact, a large study published in Science of the Total Environment revealed that farmed salmon in certain regions contained up to 8 times more polychlorinated biphenyls (PCBs) than their wild counterparts. PCBs are persistent chemical pollutants that accumulate in fatty tissues. For seniors, long-term exposure is associated with higher risks of cancer, immune suppression, and cardiovascular disease. Add to that the fact that many farmed fish are less rich in omega-3 fatty acids compared to wild fish, meaning you're getting fewer of the benefits while taking on more of the risks. And here's the hidden trap. Most people think Atlantic salmon means it came from the open ocean. But in reality, almost all salmon sold under that name is farmed, unless the label clearly states wild-caught. Chances are you're buying something raised in a pen. There's also the issue of bacterial safety. Farmed fish that isn't handled or stored properly is more prone to contamination. Seniors often buy fish in bulk to save money or freeze portions for later. But with farmed fish, improper storage can allow harmful bacteria like Listeria monocytogenes to grow. For someone under 40, that might mean a day or 2 of discomfort. For someone over 60, it could mean hospitalization, sepsis, or long-term complications. A healthy-looking salmon dinner could end up turning into a medical emergency. And it's not because fish is bad, it's because of where it came from and how it was raised. So mistake number 6 isn't simply eating farmed fish, it's eating it blindly, week after week, without ever checking the label or asking about the source. It's trusting that a supermarket fillet with a bright color must be safe. For seniors, that assumption can quietly chip away at health over the years until one day it's too late. The truth is, fish can be one of the greatest superfoods for longevity. But only if you know exactly what kind of fish you're putting on your plate. Number 5. Eating the same type of fish every week. One of the biggest traps seniors fall into after 60 is routine. You find a fish you like, maybe salmon, maybe tuna steaks, maybe tilapia. It becomes part of the weekly grocery list. It feels safe, familiar, and simple. But here's the danger. Eating the same fish over and over exposes the body to a constant stream of the same contaminants and the same nutritional profile, without giving your body the variety it truly needs. Salmon, for instance, is excellent for omega-3 south, but if all of your fish meals come from farmed Atlantic salmon, you may be ingesting the same trace pollutants, antibiotics, or heavy metals week after week. Mercury, in particular, is not something the body flushes out quickly. It builds up in tissues, especially in the brain. Seniors who eat the same mercury-containing fish, like tuna or swordfish, regularly are at risk for memory issues, tremors, and worsened cognitive decline. A study published in Environmental Health Perspectives found that older adults who frequently consumed high-mercury fish scored lower on memory and attention tests compared to those who varied their seafood choices. That means what you think is a heart-healthy habit could actually accelerate brain aging. But it's not just mercury. By sticking to one fish, you also miss out on the broader benefits of others. Sardines and anchovies, for example, are incredibly low in mercury, yet rich in calcium and vitamin D nutrients crucial for preventing osteoporosis in seniors. Trout and mackerel bring different balances of fatty acids, while shellfish like mussels and clams are packed with vitamin B12 and iron, which support red blood cell production and help prevent the fatigue many people over 60 feel. There's also a cultural element. Many seniors cook what they grew up with: baked cod on Fridays, tuna salad sandwiches, or salmon patties. These traditions are comforting, but when they don't change for decades, the body gets stuck in a loop. Over time, constant repetition of one fish source can lead to both toxic overload from contaminants and nutrient gaps from missing variety. Doctors often warn that moderation is key, but just as important is rotation. If your weekly menu looks the same month after month, your body is being changed. So mistake number 5 is the illusion of safety through routine. Fish is healthy, yes, but not when it's the same fish on repeat. Seniors who eat with variety protect themselves from the slow creep of mercury, expand their intake of different vitamins and minerals, and keep their meals more exciting at the same time. It's not about giving up your favorite fish. It's about making sure it's not the only one you ever eat. Number 4. Cooking fish at the wrong temperature for seniors over 60. One of the most dangerous but overlooked mistakes happens not at the market, but in the kitchen. Fish is delicate, requires careful cooking to kill harmful bacteria and parasites, but also to preserve its essential nutrients. Many older adults either undercook fish because they fear it drying out, or they overcook it so much that it loses nearly all of its health value. Both extremes can be harmful. Undercooked fish may carry bacteria like Salmonella or Vibrio, or parasites such as tapeworms that thrive in raw or partially cooked flesh. For someone with a weaker immune system, these infections don't just cause a stomach ache, they can trigger long hospital stays, dehydration, or even life-threatening complications. On the other hand, overcooking fish until it's rubbery or charred destroys omega-3 fatty acids, reduces vitamin D content, and can even form harmful compounds, like heterocyclic amines that are linked to inflammation and cancer. A 2020 report from the Centers for Disease Control noted that seniors over 65 are at least twice as likely as younger adults to be hospitalized after foodborne infections, and fish is one of the top culprits. Yet many seniors don't own a kitchen thermometer, relying instead on appearance alone. The problem is that color and texture can be misleading. A piece of salmon might look done on the outside while still raw in the middle, or a thin fillet of tilapia can go from perfectly cooked to nutrient-dead in just 2 extra minutes on the stove. That razor-thin margin of error is why so many people unknowingly eat unsafe or nutritionally empty fish. There's also the microwave factor. Many seniors reheat frozen or leftover fish in the microwave for convenience. But uneven heating can leave cold spots where bacteria survive. Worse, microwaving for too long makes the fish dry and bitter, which often leads seniors to add heavy sauces or extra salt to cover the taste, adding yet another health risk for the heart and kidneys. It becomes a domino effect. Poor cooking habits strip away the good, leave the bad, and introduce new problems. So mistake number 4 is cooking fish at the wrong temperature, either too little or too much. For a younger body, the consequences might be minimal, but for seniors, it can add up quickly: food poisoning that doesn't heal fast, bones that don't get the vitamin D they need, or inflammation that worsens arthritis and heart disease. Fish is meant to be protective, but only when handled with precision. If the cooking process isn't respected, the very act of preparing fish can quietly turn it from medicine into poison. Number 3. Storing fish the wrong way at home for seniors over 60. One of the silent but most common mistakes doesn't happen at the grocery store or on the stove, happens in the refrigerator. Fish is one of the most perishable proteins you can buy. Unlike chicken or beef, which can last several days in the fridge, fish starts to break down within hours if not kept at the right temperature. Many older adults, out of habit or convenience, leave fish in its original store packaging, place it on the top shelf of the refrigerator, and assume it will be fine for a few days. The reality is very different. Fish should be kept at 32 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 degrees Celsius, basically just above freezing, but the average home refrigerator runs closer to 40 degrees Fahrenheit, 4 degrees Celsius. That gap may seem small, but it gives bacteria like Listeria, Vibrio, and Salmonella the perfect environment to multiply. For seniors with a weakened immune system, what starts as a piece of fish left overnight can quickly become a dangerous meal, leading to fever, diarrhea, and, in severe cases, hospitalization. Another overlooked issue is how long fish is stored before it's cooked. Many seniors stretch a purchase across several days to avoid another trip to the store, sometimes freezing fish after it has already sat in the fridge for 2 or 3 days. But by then, bacterial growth has already begun. Freezing does not kill. All bacteria simply pauses their growth. When thawed, those bacteria come back to life and multiply rapidly. If thawing is done improperly, like leaving fish on the counter instead of in the fridge, only accelerates the danger. This is why food safety experts warn that fish should either be eaten the same day it's bought or properly frozen immediately. Yet countless older adults, believing they're being economical, hold on to fish too long and unknowingly raise their risk. Packaging also plays a role. Many supermarkets sell fish wrapped in thin plastic or paper, which allows air to seep in. Oxygen exposure speeds up spoilage, and with fish, that means not only bacterial growth, but also the rise of histamines that can trigger allergic-like reactions in seniors, causing rashes, headaches, or even heart palpitations. Research from the Journal of Food Protection has shown that fish stored improperly at home is one of the leading causes of foodborne illness among adults over 65. In other words, the problem isn't just what fish you buy, but how you handle it once it crosses your doorstep. So mistake number 3 is treating fish like it's just another protein in the fridge. Seniors who don't respect the fragility of fish storage risk turning a meal meant to strengthen the heart and brain into one that damages both. Freshness is everything with fish, and without strict storage habits, its promise of health becomes a very real threat. Number 2. Adding too much salt, sauce, or seasoning to fish, for many seniors over 60. The danger isn't the fish itself, which is what gets added to it. Fish is naturally light, subtle, and filled with delicate nutrients, but when it reaches the dinner table, it's often buried under layers of salt, butter, soy sauce, or heavy marinades. The problem is that aging taste buds tend to dull over time, so many older adults unconsciously add more seasoning just to taste something. This might make the meal feel more satisfying in the moment, but the long-term consequences are serious. Excess sodium is one of the biggest dietary risks for seniors, directly linked to high blood pressure, kidney strain, and increased risk of stroke. When fish becomes a vehicle for extra salt, what should be a heart-friendly meal can suddenly become a trigger for the very heart problems it was meant to prevent. Soy sauce is one of the biggest culprits. Just 1 tablespoon contains over 800 milligrams of sodium, more than a third of the daily recommended limit for older adults. Many seniors drizzle it freely over grilled fish or sushi-style dishes, pushing their sodium intake well beyond safe levels in a single meal. Marinades made with teriyaki or bottled dressings are no better, often packed with hidden sugars that contribute to weight gain and insulin resistance. For seniors already battling type 2 diabetes or prediabetes, this mistake can be especially damaging. Instead of lowering blood sugar, fish becomes a hidden partner in raising it. Another overlooked danger comes from using heavy cream-based sauces, butter, or mayonnaise to make fish taste richer. While these might add comfort, they also load the dish with saturated fats that clog arteries. A study in the Journal of Nutrition, Health and Aging found that seniors who consistently added high sodium or high-fat toppings to otherwise healthy proteins faced a 40% higher risk of cardiovascular complications within a decade compared to those who kept preparation simple. The irony is painful. Seniors often choose fish because it's supposed to be good for their heart, but then they undo the benefit entirely by smothering it in unhealthy add-ons. It's not just about salt and fat either. Many spice blends marketed for fish contain hidden additives like MSG, preservatives, or artificial coloring. These may irritate the digestive system, worsen acid reflux, or contribute to chronic inflammational problems that are especially common in older age. So while the fish itself is pure, what's being added to it often transforms it into something far more dangerous than seniors realize. So mistake number 2 is over-seasoning fish until it stops being healthy. For seniors who need every nutrient advantage they can get, this habit can quietly sabotage their efforts. Fish should be the cleanest protein on the plate, not the one carrying a hidden burden of salt, fat, and chemicals. Number 1. Eating high-mercury fish too often. This is the single most dangerous mistake seniors over 60 can make with fish, because mercury is a silent toxin. It doesn't announce itself with a taste or smell, and you won't feel sick right after eating it. Instead, it quietly builds up in the body, week after week, meal after meal, until one day it shows itself through memory loss, balance problems, shaking hands, or even heart arrhythmias. Seniors are especially vulnerable because the brain and nervous system at this age are more sensitive, and the organs that filter toxins like the liver and kidneys work less efficiently. That means mercury lingers longer, damaging cells slowly but steadily. The biggest offenders are large predator fish that live long lives and accumulate mercury from everything they eat: shark, swordfish, king mackerel, big-eye tuna, and sometimes even certain types of halibut. Seniors who eat canned tuna several times a week because it's cheap and convenient may be unknowingly dosing themselves with mercury every single time. The Food and Drug Administration has warned that consistent intake of high-mercury fish raises the risk of neurological decline, and studies in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition have shown a clear link between mercury exposure in older adults and accelerated cognitive impairment. For someone already worried about Alzheimer's or dementia, this is a risk not worth taking. Mercury doesn't just attack the brain. It also affects the cardiovascular system by increasing oxidative stress, stiffening blood vessels, and raising the chance of irregular heartbeats. Imagine a senior who eats tuna sandwiches every day for lunch, believing they're protecting their heart, while in reality, they're quietly raising the risk of a heart attack or stroke. It's a cruel irony. The very food chosen for health becomes the hidden cause of decline. Worse still, mercury exposure accumulates over months and years, meaning the damage can't simply be undone by changing diet overnight. Another overlooked problem is that seniors often share meals with grandchildren. If high mercury fish is served at the table, not only does it harm the senior, but it also exposes young children whose brains are still developing. Mercury crosses generations in that way, silently affecting both ends of the family spectrum. This makes the mistake of eating high mercury fish regularly not just a personal risk, but a family one. So, mistake number 1 is the most dangerous of them all, ignoring the mercury factor and eating the wrong fish too often. For seniors, this can mean trading years of clarity, strength, and independence for slow, invisible damage. Fish can and should be one of the greatest allies of healthy aging, but only when it's chosen wisely. High mercury species belong off the plate because once mercury settles in, the price it demands is far greater than any nutritional benefit. So let's be clear. Fish can either be your greatest ally after 60 or your quietest enemy. The omega-3 south, lean protein, and vital nutrients are proven to protect the heart, the brain, and even your bones. But the 6 mistakes we've just gone through: buying farmed fish blindly, eating the same species every week, cooking it at the wrong temperature, storing it carelessly, drowning it in salt and sauces, and worst of all, relying on high mercury. Fish can turn this superfood into a source of hidden harm. Too many seniors think that simply eating more fish guarantees better health, when in reality, the details matter more than ever. The truth is, aging bodies don't forgive shortcuts. A refrigerator set a few degrees to warm, a habit of reaching for tuna cans every day, or a little too much soy sauce can be the difference between fish that heals and fish that hurts. But the good news is this: with just a little awareness and a few small adjustments, you can enjoy all the benefits of fish while protecting yourself from the risks. Choose variety, watch the labels, respect storage and cooking, and be mindful of mercury. At the end of the day, seniors who know how to eat fish wisely are giving themselves one of the best natural tools for longer, sharper, and stronger years ahead. What about you? Have you ever made one of these mistakes without realizing it? Share your story in the comments, because your experience could save someone else's health. And don't forget to subscribe for more senior health tips. Sometimes, one small change can make the biggest difference in how we age.